tes tes
Tes, 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 tes.
tes 1 2 3 cek cek tes tes cek tes 1 2 3 cek tes cek cek tes tes
Tes, 1 2 3. Belum. Tes, tes. Oh. Tes, tes, tes. Tes, 1 2 3.
Baik, karena acara akan segera dimulai, untuk para hadirin bisa merapat ke depan ya, Mas. Baik, kita mulai acara pada siang hari ini. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat siang semuanya.
Yang terhormat kepada pendiri ASC, Bapak Ilyas Nasution. Yang terhormat Ketua ASC 2025-2026, Bapak Thomas Suryono. Serta teman-teman yang saya banggakan.
Baik. Terima kasih kami ucapkan kepada teman-teman yang sudah menghadiri acara pada siang hari ini. Terima kasih juga kepada BPBD DIY yang telah mengizinkan kami menempati ruangan ini sehingga acara pada siang hari ini dapat berjalan dengan semestinya.
Tak kenal maka tak sayang. Perkenalkan, nama saya Ranindita Utami Dewi, angkat tahun 2025.
Dan saya Tina, angkatan tahun 2023.
Yang akan membersamai kalian dalam acara pembukaan Diklat ASC ke-22 tahun 2025 ini.
Izinkan kami untuk membacakan susunan acara pada siang hari ini. Yang pertama, ada pembukaan acara,
Menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya,
sambutan-sambutan,
proses simbolik pembukaan Diklat,
sharing session,
dan juga diakhiri dengan penutupan. Oke, memasuki acara yang pertama yaitu pembukaan. Marilah kita buka acara pada siang hari ini dengan membaca doa sesuai dengan kepercayaan masing-masing. Doa dimulai. Doa tak akan pernah cukup.
Baik, acara yang selanjutnya menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya. Untuk hadirin dimohon untuk berdiri. Hadirin dipersilakan untuk duduk kembali.
Oke, acara selanjutnya adalah sambutan dari Ketua ASC kita saat ini untuk Bapak Thomas Suryono. Saya persilahkan.
Terima kasih. Selamat siang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Pertama-tama kita harus mengucap syukur bahwa kita bisa berkumpul di tempat ini dengan segala kekurangan dan rintangan masing-masing. Kita masih bisa ketemu di sini. Kemudian tidak lupa saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada para tamu undangan. Pertama itu kepada Bapak Elias Nasution sebagai pendiri, kemudian ada Pak Pariandoko sebagai senior ASC, ada Mas Ruby dari Puli Jajar, kemudian masih ada beberapa tamu yang belum datang. Ini ada Mas Indro Sambodo sebenarnya, itu nanti sebagai salah satu undangan narasumber kita dari Kasiop Sardiy, kebetulan juga beliau Kasiop TRC BBBD. Kemudian ada satu tamu online itu dari Jerman, dari KIT Jerman, yang nanti akan jadi narasumber juga. Baik, jadi teman-teman sekalian, kita tahu bahwa dunia ini sekarang mengalami perubahan yang cepat sekali dengan adanya perkembangan teknologi yang sangat cepat, dan ini mengubah hampir semua aspek kehidupan kita yang sekarang masih tinggal dan merasakan. Itu juga berpengaruh di ASC. Jadi kalau dulu kita tahu bahwa kegiatan kepecinta alaman ini banyak didominasi teman-teman mahasiswa. Kemudian dengan perkembangannya zaman yang sekarang serba modern dan dituntut cepat gitu, masa studi teman-teman mahasiswa ini sangat terbatas sekali. Tidak seperti kita dulu yang angkatannya mungkin angkatan zamannya Pak Koko, zaman saya juga masih ngalami gitu bahwa kuliah itu nyambi kegiatan gitu, bukan kegiatan nyambi kuliah. Kalau sekarang itu sudah tidak mungkin gitu. Dan untuk itu kita di ASC juga terpaksa harus berubah gitu. Jadi artinya sekarang ini ASC ada di masa transisi. Transisi perubahan yang mengikuti perkembangan yang ada di lingkungan kita gitu. Jadi nanti pada perkembangannya bahwa ASC ini akan menjadi sebuah organisasi juga yang lebih bersifat profesional gitu. Tidak hanya berkegiatan gitu, maka kita juga membuka diri anggotanya itu tidak hanya dari teman-teman yang berkegiatan, tetapi juga teman-teman profesional yang mungkin dari bidang pendidikannya atau latar belakang pendidikannya dulu, itu masih bisa berhubungan atau berkoneksi dengan kegiatan speleologi gitu. Jadi nanti kita akan lihat beberapa teman-teman peserta diklat ini akan sangat beragam gitu. Baik dari sisi umur, ada yang mungkin sudah 40 tahun gitu, tapi ada juga yang masih 21 tahun gitu. Ada yang pendidikannya sudah S3, ada yang S2, ada yang S1, ada yang bahkan masih kuliah. Ini akan sangat beragam sekali dan ini pasti akan menjadi tantangan buat kita semua gitu. Untuk menyikapi itu di ASC juga kita bertransisinya dengan di periode ini, di periode saya sebagai ketua ini, kita menyusun sebuah kepengurusan juga yang sangat beragam gitu. Jadi baru sekarang ini di sejarah ASC, ketua ASC itu bukan dari angkatan yang muda gitu. Biasanya setelah 3 tahun atau 4 tahun di ASC, mereka punya kesempatan untuk menjadi pengurus dan jadi ketua. Saya ini diklat kedua di ASC. Jadi saya diklat sudah 30 tahun yang lalu. 30 tahun yang lalu gitu. Ya, di masa transisi ini saya mendapat tugas dari teman-teman untuk mengawal eh, masa perubahan yang ada di ASC. Untuk itu nanti teman-teman juga yang ikut diklat ini akan berhubungan dengan teman-teman pengurus yang juga sangat beragam. Di kepengurusan ini ada lebih dari 4 pengurus yang mantan ketua ASC. Mungkin di tempat lain nggak ada. Kalau sudah mantan ya udah selesai purna gitu. Kalau ini enggak. Ada 4 ketua ASC yang sekarang masih bertugas untuk membantu kita di masa transisi ini. Eh, Nanti kita akan saling berkenalan di belakang. Jadi saya mengucapkan terima kasih buat teman-teman yang sudah berminat dan mengikuti diklat ASC. Eh, Kita akan berproses bareng, selamat berproses gitu. Selamat menjadi ASC, AScer masa depan gitu. Jadi akan banyak yang akan bisa kita lakukan di depan gitu. Mungkin ada banyak perubahan yang harus saling saling diikuti untuk beradaptasi gitu. Jadi kita masing-masing membawa budaya dan perilaku masing-masing. Nanti kita masuk di ASC kita harus saling menyesuaikan dan untuk menjalankan masa transisi ini. Jadi sekali lagi saya ucapkan selamat datang, selamat berproses, dan selamat menjadi ASC masa depan. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih untuk Bapak Thomas atas sambutannya. Bisa beri tepuk tangan untuk Bapak Thomas.
Sambutan yang kedua akan diberikan oleh pendiri ASC, yaitu Bapak Insinyur Ilyas Nasution. Kepada Bapak kami persilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Puji syukur kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala yang pada siang hari ini kita dapat berkumpul dan dapat bersilaturahmi di ruangan ini. Dan tak lupa sholawat dan salam selalu kita junjungkan kepada Nabi kita Muhammad SAW yang kita nanti syafaatnya di Yaumul Kiamah nanti. Yang kami hormati Ketua ASC Mas Thomas, yang kami hormati Mas Koko, ini selaku sahabat dan konsultan saya ini, konsultan di tambang. Yang kami hormati Mas Ruby, dan Jubidu, dan Bapak dan adik-adik sekalian yang kami muliakan. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim, saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada pengurus yang baru ini. Sebetulnya bukan pengurus yang baru, mereka itu dari dulu ya selalu eksis di ASC. Dan alhamdulillah dengan adanya perkembangan zaman ini memang yang senior harus membimbing betul karena sekarang ini sistem pendidikan kita berbeda dengan tahun-tahun yang lalu seperti apa yang telah disampaikan oleh Mas Thomas tadi. Yang jelas di dalam ASC ini kita banyak sekali ilmu-ilmu yang belum kita dapatkan di kuliahan atau di bangku kuliah. Jadi alhamdulillah yang memang berkenan ataupun yang bisa istilahnya ikut di dalam diklat ini betul-betul suatu keberuntungan ya. Karena saya sendiri basicnya dulu teknik sipil, tapi ketika kenal dengan gua itu akhirnya cinta, kemudian kita ya, istilahnya kita bisa apa meneruskan cita-cita kita pada adik-adik kita yang istilahnya jangan sampai berhura-hura tapi dibuat yang positif. Dan alhamdulillah ASC juga sudah beberapa beberapa generasi yang sudah istilahnya dengan ASC mereka bisa lebih eksis di masyarakat. Yang penting ketika kita di bermasyarakat ilmu kita bermanfaat walaupun sedikit tapi bisa memberi manfaat. Dan juga saya mengucapkan selamat kepada Mas Thomas yang pada periode ini eh, diberi amanah kepada teman-teman semuanya. Kami berharap semoga amanah ini betul-betul dipegang oleh Mas Thomas dan menjadikan ASC lebih dan lebih lagi. Saya rasa sambutan saya cukupkan sekian, dan apabila ada kurang kata ataupun yang tidak berkenan di hati Bapak, teman, dan adik-adik sekalian, saya mengucapkan mohon maaf yang besar-besarnya. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih atas sambutannya Bapak Ilyas. Memasuki acara selanjutnya yaitu proses simbolik sebagai tanda dibukanya Diklat ASC tahun ini. Untuk Bapak Ilyas diperkenan ke depan untuk menyematkan helm, dan juga dari perwakilan peserta Diklat untuk Kak Rani bisa maju ke depan. Bisa didampingi oleh Pak Koko. Bisa untuk ke depan, Pak Koko.
Baik, memasuki acara yang kita tunggu-tunggu yaitu sharing session bersama orang-orang hebat yang udah ada di depan kita ini.
Mereka adalah tokoh-tokoh hebat dari berbagai bidang yang berbeda. Dan di sini kita akan mengetahui bagaimana bidang-bidang yang berbeda ini berelasi dengan ASC.
Baik, tokoh-tokoh itu yang berada di depan ini. Nah, tadi kita sudah berkenalan dengan Mas Thomas dan Mas Ilyas. Selanjutnya kita kenalkan juga kepada tokoh yang lain, yaitu Bapak IR Baryandoko, selaku senior geologis, dan beliau juga merupakan anggota Diklat pertama kita. Mungkin bisa disapa dan beri tepuk tangannya, teman-teman.
Oke, selanjutnya ada juga yang dari Jerman dan ikut bersama kita dalam Zoom meeting. Ada Dr. Peter Oberle. Beliau adalah kepala section numerik pada Karlsruhe Institute of Technology di Jerman. Bisa diperlihatkan? Oh, belum masuk. Oke, lanjut saja ya. Di sebelah Pak Koko ada Mas Rubianto. Beliau adalah Ketua Kombi atau Komunitas Merangkul Bumi. Bisa disapa.
Oke. Dan yang terakhir ada Pak Endro Sambodo dari Kepala Operasional SAR DIY. Untuk Pak Endro mungkin belum hadir bersama kita ya. Mungkin nanti akan menyusul sebagai pengisi acara juga.
Atau oke, dari Dr. Peter sudah masuk, bisa diperlihatkan. Hello, Dr. Peter. Can you say hi to us?
Need the allowance to unmute. Now I think it works. Good morning, everybody. Do you hear me?
Can you say hi to us?
Yes, I say hi. Hello. Can you hear me and see me? Unmute. Now I think it works. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Oke, karena di sana itu perbedaan waktunya 6 jam, jadi di sana masih pagi.
Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning. Oke, karena di sana itu perbedaan waktunya 6 jam, jadi di sana masih pagi.
Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning. Oke, karena di sana itu perbedaan waktunya 6 jam, jadi di sana masih pagi.
Can you hear me? Thomas? Thomas? So I mute.
Okay, we can start.
Shall I start with the presentation?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay, I hear me double. Just a second, I take off the sound here at my computer, so let's try. So Thomas, is this okay? And do you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I really have to say that I'm very proud and it's a great honor for me to speak to all of you. Maybe Thomas already informed you that from 1999 to 2018, so almost 2 decades, we had a very intense cooperation in the fields of karst water management. And during these 20 years, we start to implement and to work with a big variety of governmental institutions from Germany, also from Indonesia, and also many companies. So you see here on the slides a lot of symbols from all different governmental institutions and companies. But I want to be honest to you, and you see here the little symbol from ASC. You also see it here on my heart. No, the heart is on the other side, but it's on my shirt, which I got from ASC many years ago. And to be honest, without the ASC club, we wouldn't have become active in Indonesia to work in the field of karst management. So I'm very happy that I'm invited today. And I want to focus, because we had a huge variety of topics, but I want to focus on our first and very major activity, the construction of an underground hydropower-based water supply system in Sindon, in Gua Brebin. But first of all, I just want to reflect that why do we focus here in Karlsruhe at KIT on karst water management? We have to be aware that approximately 20% of world population live on carbonate rock, and that over a quarter of mankind depends on karst aquifer as their source of water. And I don't have to tell you, because you're also experts in karst, that most karst regions are suffering from really severe water scarcity during dry seasons. And especially in very remote areas, it's one of the most complex water management areas that we have on the world. So this is why also here at KIT, we, together with many colleagues, work in these fields. And, you know, I am civil engineer for my studies. And if we look at the rivers down in the caves, which you see here some pictures, for example, in Gunung Zebu, which is a very beautiful karst area, but also with big restraints regarding water supply. But if we go underground, we see even during dry season, there are many underground rivers, and they look quite similar to surface rivers. But they are deep in the underground, so there's a big difficulty to access these rivers. And also the problem, the rivers are very deep, so you need a lot of energy and money to bring the water up to the surface. So this is why we had an idea 20 years ago that why don't we want to use the power of the water itself, the hydropower of the water down in the caves to operate pumps and energetic autark pump the water to lift the water from deep underground rivers to the surface with no external energy. So no fuel, but only no diesel generators, fuel generators, but only by means of the hydropower itself. So a complete energy autark system, of course, which is also from ecological and from economic point of view, very sensible. So this was our idea. And you can imagine that to implement such a project, it needs a lot of different experts from different disciplines. And we made a feasibility study and we motivated our colleagues and our faculty from all different kind of research fields to get active. And a big motivation for us was also Sri Sultan Hamengkubuwono. Your Sultan, your governor, he also motivated us very much to go into the Gunung Zebu and try to find better solutions for water supply. Also, we need, of course, from Germany, we have different cultures, we speak different languages, so we need to have also some network partner who tries to connect these two worlds. And for us, it was Mr. Solichin. Mr. Solichin, he was a PhD student at our institute and he managed the network. And later also supported by Dr. Ishwan, Muhammad Ishwan. So these two Indonesian colleagues, they were in charge for the organizing, for the networking, and they did also a very great job. So we had a good start because there was a lot of data for Gunung Zebu from a British consulting study in the 1980s. So there were a big variety of maps and of measurements. But of course, you can imagine we cannot start a project only based on theoretical data. So here I have to say that we had the very great luck that since we had no experience at all going into caves, we are experts in other fields, but we never went down the caves. And so it was a fantastic situation that one staff member at Department of Public Work, it was Mr. Tsujono. You see here the man with me with a little rubber boat in one of the caves. And Mr. Tsujono was in charge at Department of Public Work. And if I'm informed right, he was also founder of ASC Club. And he also was a member of the British exploration team in the 1980s who explored the caves. So he was very experienced. And he also, Mr. Tsujono, showed us the way down in the cave. He also opened the door to ASC Club. And here on the right, you see Professor Nestman, for example. Professor Nestman and me, we coordinated, we were responsible for the project. And they taught us to climb, to take the gear, to all the exploration techniques to explore the caves. And it was, of course, also Mr. Tsujono who opened the door to ASC Club. So from the beginning, here you see Thomas 20 years ago with Mr. Tsujono and another colleague from ASC. We didn't, you see, we use carbide lamps. Nowadays, we all use LED lamps to go in the caves, but this was more than 20 years ago, I think 25 years ago, this picture. And so the ASC Club for us was, let's say, the key to bring also our colleagues, the professor and the technicians down in the cave. You see here on this picture, Mr. Tsujono, Thomas Suriono, and also Sigurd. Also Sigurd was from the beginning member of our team and supported us in the underground work. For example, here Sigrid with a new technical expert, Dr. Butchler, who was our geotechnical expert in the project, and they always accompanied us to go down in the cave, because as you know, it's also, you need a lot of experience to climb down. Also, it was important to know about the floods and the wreck, especially during rain. So we made a lot of exploration, and we also installed monitoring equipment to measure the discharges, because of course, if we want to implement hydropower solutions, it was crucial to know about also the discharges. Not only the discharges in one cave, but also the connections between different caves. So we also made tracer studies, and we, based on the information of McDonald's exploration in the 1980s, we added a lot of more information as a basis for our project. So in the end, we chose Bean for our pilot study. You see here the map for McDonald's, and the idea was to build a barrage at the downstream end on the cave to store the water up on a height of maybe 10 or 15 meters, to use the hydropower, and with the hydropower pump the maybe 60 to 70 liters per second to Caligogo water reservoir. So here you see Mr. Kujono and me also as a young engineer to make terrestrial measurements, because we wanted to know, we had to know on the surface where to drill a shaft to get access to the cave. Together with the company Hersenknecht, you see here some pictures. They constructed a vertical shaft drilling machine, and together with the company Vika, the Indonesian company, we drilled a shaft 100 meters deep into the cave. Here you see a very important milestone of the project, the opening of the cave after half a year of shaft drilling. And also you see the former president of Indonesia, Bambang Yudhoyono, who also gave us the honor to visit the construction on one day. So also this big motivation for us. Then we started together with the Indonesian partners, company partners, to build up, to construct the hydropower station. And we were very successful and very fast. You see here some pictures. I think it was in December of 2005. But then the Merapi got very active. And the flood season started, the Merapi was active, so we interrupted the construction. And you remember 20 years ago, the big earthquake in Yogyakarta with many dead people. So a big catastrophe happens. And also together with Kap Anamur, a German relief aid organization, we also try to support, to help a little bit in this really tragic moment. And we always work together very closely with our friends from ASC, also for these actions during the earthquake. So what happened to the project? We saw that our construction was flooded completely. You see here some pictures after the earthquake, the construction was flooded. So we were wondering what happened. And we found some German divers who were there to dive into the siphon at the downstream end of the breathing cave. And they came back with this picture. And that was a catastrophe too for the project, because you see, due to the earthquake, the whole roof was breaking down the cave and stored back the water. So these rocks which were falling behind the siphon in the river, that was the problem for the project. But we didn't want to give up. So we also had a cooperation with an
blasting team, an Indonesian blasting team, and our German divers brought the dynamite through the siphon, and they made explosions to smaller the rocks. And some Indonesian divers from the Navy, over 2 months or even longer, they were diving through the siphon, took away all the rocks from the river so that the water level at the construction site was decreasing, and we could start go on building the hydropower station. So in the end, we installed these machineries, the valves, the pumps, and the turbines for hydropower. And then the big moment came and say, hey, let's store the water up in the cave, because we were very nervous that maybe the cave will lose the water again due to porosity, due to lateral water paths. But we saw that the cave was tight, and we could store the water even up to 20 meters height. And we had the first moment, you see here some pictures, first moment, 2008, in the year 2008, after we overcame all these problems, especially with the earthquake damages, but then the turbines were starting, and the water could be just by means of regenerative hydropower, the water was lifted up to the surface and also into Caligoro Reservoir, and from there delivered to the people. So from the year, so we made all the training with the staff, and from the year 2010 or even a little earlier, the water was, or the pumping system was operated by Department of Public Work continuously, and was a big advantage, and to deliver the water to the people also during dry season. So we saw the concept was functioning, so it was a big success for us, for all the people who were involved. Maybe here a little film where you see that you can imagine the power of water down in the caves. So that's really impressive. That's a lot of energy. But this energy is also very positive to pump water. But of course, it's also a big risk for the facility. And then I have to tell you that in the year 2017, there was also, maybe you remember, this cyclone. The heart of the cyclone was Pripin Sindon. So it was a very rare happening, a really rare cyclone, and the whole area of Gunung Sewu was flooded. So many houses were flooded, and also down in the cave, there was big damage. But the barrage still exists, and it was only the pumps and turbines and some pipelines who were destroyed. So it would have been possible without so many money, without many budgets, to re-establish the hydropower station. We also gave support and made some concepts how to repair everything. But we were a little bit sad that the Indonesian government, or the people who are involved, I think they really didn't dare to take the chance, and they got back to fuel or electrical water pumping. So, but of course, it's the decision maker. There are reasons which we don't understand. But for us, still, even if Pripin Sindon nowadays is not in operation anymore, we could show that it was functioning for 10 years continuously. And I think as a pilot project with a lot of research, still it was a big success. And maybe the the cyclone destroyed the plant. But what was not destroyed was our close relationship and our friendships, which we developed during the many years of intense cooperations down in the Cape. And as you see, until now, this was a visit, I think 6 or 7 years ago, or 8 years ago from ASC. You see here Mr. Solichin, you see Thomas, you see Sigurd, you see Imam, also Imam, a very close friend of us. And we are still always in connection, and our hearts are together. And so you see, it's a big honor. I was also Erlanger. Erlanger was a very close friend of us, or is a very close friend of us, and supported the project with his art and with his engineering and art skills. And I was invited also for the 32 anniversary of ASC. You see here a picture some years ago. So now coming to an end, I just want to finally tell you that during the last 20 years also we lost some friends. And last but not least, I want to remember on, for example, Günther Schmidt, Professor Schmidt. He was the professor who made the geodetical survey. And he was the geodetic expert. He died some years ago. Also, much younger, Mr. Martin Vetter, you see here in the middle. Mr. Martin Vetter died in the age of less than 50 years. I think he was 48 on heart attack. Also, very sad, Dr. Philipp Klingel. He is my age, a very close friend and colleague who also made explorations together in Vietnam, in the Vietnam project. He had a climbing accident in the Alps and died some years ago. Also, I want to remember on Bacchus. Bacchus also in the team with Thomas Sigurd and Imam. Although Bacchus was very close with us. And also, as you know, he died. And last but not least, of course, I want to remember Mr. Sujono. Without Mr. Sujono, I wouldn't be here today in this conference. Because he was the key, he played the key role for ASC, but also for the friendship of ASC and KIT and all our colleagues. So we are very, very sad that he died many years ago. He didn't even, he died before there was the success of water pumping. So now I also want to remember him. But of course, with this picture, I say thank you very much. Do small things in a great way. That was also our motto. I think that's the motto also from ASC. And thanks again for your invitation to present to you. Thank you very much, and I wish you a successful day for you. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, Peter, thank you so much for the presentation. It's really encouraging presentation for us, especially for the new members. But now we also have Sigurd here. He will lead you for a short discuss with the audience.
Sure.
Mungkin ada yang mau ditanyakan dengan Mas Peter. Hello Peter, my Mr. friend. Peter?
I hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to ask the audience about if there's some guys want to ask you about something about the project or some interesting skill that you have. Ada yang mau ditanyakan? Pak Pierre? Ya. Oke. Ada yang? Siapa? Yeah.
Hello. Well, hello, I'm Pierre-François, and I'm happy to watch your presentation. It was interesting because for me, it's my first time in this association. I can watch the historical links that you have with ACSC and your background. It's just not really a question, just a comment.
I'm sorry, I don't hear it very good quality, so I didn't understand the question. I'm very sorry. Maybe Thomas, you can
Apa nih?
tell me via the telephone.
It was just to say to you, I was happy to watch that. I don't have really long question.
Gimana? Sampai jam berapa? Sampai jam 3 sore. Ya kasih kamu. Gimana? Sampai jam berapa? Sampai jam 3 sore.
Professor Nessmann is retired. Now we have a new head of institutes. He has some different focuses. So right now we are not active in Southeast Asia anymore, but let's see. So I would be happy if we can get in contact and if somehow we can cooperate. Sure. We have a new head of institutes. He has some different focuses. So right now we are not active in Southeast Asia anymore, but let's see. So I would be happy if we can get in contact and if somehow we can cooperate. Sure. We have a new head of institutes. He has some different focuses. So right now we are not active in Southeast Asia anymore, but let's see. So I would be happy. I don't know if you have any more questions, but I only hear fragments. Sorry for this. Okay?
Okay, Peter.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, class. Bye.
I don't know if you have any more questions, but I only hear fragments. Sorry for this. Okay?
Okay, Peter.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, class. Bye.
I
Mohon
don't know
maaf.
if you have any more questions, but I only hear fragments. Sorry for this.